What's up, you guys? This is Rob from Gay Guy Plays, and today on the Quick Draw, we're playing with some mechanics when we take a look at the Gazal Machete. Alright, you guys know I am a sucker when it comes to unique mechanics, and the Gazal Machete shares one of the most interesting effects and one of the most beautiful aesthetics in game. In a symbiotic relationship with the Djinn Sentinel, each pass on buffs that increase their counterpart's efficacy. However, as we know, machetes have always had a reputation of being a bit underpowered, and I'm not the biggest fan of trusting the AI to provide me a buff when I need it the most. So absolute gorgeousness aside, the question is, exactly how well does this pair play together? Now, you can pick up the Gazal Machete in the Tenno lab of your clan dojo, but only after you've completed the appropriate research. And while you're there, if you haven't already picked it up, you can find a blueprint for the Djinn in the infested lab. Now, if you have completely embraced the life of the antisocial gamer and don't do the whole clan thing, or just have zero patience for research, you can pick this up on its own for 175 plat. However, before you drop your cash, be sure to check out the Gazal Complete Collection bundle, which also comes with a sick new armor set, a skin for the Djinn, and the Djinn itself, for only 225 plat. Now, its primary damage type is slashing with a little bit of puncture and an even smaller splash of impact. Clearly, this makes it great against the infested as well as corpus and Grineer flesh. However, it does suffer against armor, especially alloy armor, so be sure you're using the appropriate elemental combo in order to deal the optimal amount of damage. Now, statistically, the Gazal Machete is arguably the best in its category, which isn't really saying too much. At 52 points, it has the highest base damage and is tied for the second fastest attack speed, sitting at 1.08. And while its critical statistics are a bit underwhelming, it does have a 25% base status chance, which is fine if you like that kind of stuff. That aside, let's get to the interesting part. So for those of you who don't know, the Djinn's Fatal Attraction at max rank activates when there are 2 or more enemies within a 15-meter range. Those enemies become hypnotized and begin to walk harmlessly towards the Djinn as it begins to charge up its acid spray. Unless, of course, you start attacking them. Now, its charge time has a delay of about 2 seconds. However, if you begin to slaughter hypnotized enemies, it will extend the charge/hypnotization duration up to a max of 7.5 seconds. Now, at max rank, if there are at least 2 enemies left, it will discharge a corrosive blast that will deal a total of 320 points of damage over 4 ticks. So the reason I went over all that is because every time your Djinn triggers a blast, it grants the Gazal Machete a bonus 25 corrosive damage for 30 seconds. Now, this is only affected by things that alter base damage and does not combine with any other additive mod like physical and elemental. On the other end of the spectrum, every kill racked up by the Gazal Machete actually adds 240 points of damage to the Djinn's next acid spray. Now, due to the way the simulacrum is set up, I was only able to accurately test this out with up to 8 enemies, but I can attest that even at 8, the Gazal was still adding bonus damage. Mechanically, it all sounds pretty good, and in practice, it's not too far off, just as long as you treat it as a nice little bonus and don't depend too heavily on its activations. Now, speaking of top-notch teamwork, can we talk? Okay, so the Djinn and the Gazal Machete are an awesome example of a working relationship. Independently, both can hold their own, however they definitely shine when they work together. The Djinn lures enemies harmlessly into melee range, while the Gazal tears them down and supercharges the Djinn's acid spray. The ensuing blast supercharges the Gazal's melee attacks, and the cycle starts all over again. And it's this exact reason why I am way more of a relationship guy than a one-night stander. See, when you're in a relationship, you learn to complement each other. He knows exactly how to order both of my extremely complicated drink orders at Starbucks. I know exactly how he likes his ingredients layered in his nachos. He knows to run to my closet when he needs something nice to wear, and I know exactly where he keeps his snowboarding socks for when I'm feeling chilly around the house. He knows exactly what I need in order to get ready for dinner, and I know exactly what I need to do in order to get him out of bed on the weekend. And for those of you who didn't catch that, both of those are blowjob jokes. See, when you're in a relationship, you get this I scratch your back, you scratch mine mentality that you just don't get with casual hookups. He knows never to repeat the things I say during sex, and I know never to tell anyone about the thing that he can do with his thing. Because at the end of the day, you are a team working towards the same goal. The things that bring him joy bring you joy, and the things that bring you pain bring him pain. And that is exactly why you keep a set of his nudes, to remind him that if any of yours leaks, his are soon to follow. Now that I've issued that innocent reminder, let's get back to the quick draw. So all in all, the Gazal Machete is actually really good. For for a machete. As compared to other weapons, however, it does sit somewhere in mid-tier. Definitely usable throughout the start chart, but it will struggle on high-end extended missions. Now, while the weapon itself isn't going to bring machetes to the forefront of combat, its unique mechanics show a lot of promise, as it seems like DE is willing to take bigger and bigger risks when it comes to melee weapons, which is definitely exciting, as the only thing we really got to spice up melee combat were stances, and let's face it, the machete one is a bit trash. However, on the bright side, this does come with an innate V polarity, which should help you max out your build fairly easily. Because let's face it, if you're gonna walk around with something this gorgeous, you might as well pack it in with the good stuff. So thank you all for watching another episode of The Quick Draw. If you want to take a closer look at the Gazal armor, be sure to check out my Vacuum Within and Gazal collection in a flash, as well as the prototype for my new Dress to Kill series on Mesa's animations. Now, don't forget to do all the things that I asked you to do at the end of every one of these, and as always, make sure you keep at least 2 copies of their nudes just in case they try to delete a set, because nothing says let's stay together forever better than the potential for blackmail, especially here at A K Guy Plays. Okay, I don't know about you, but I need one of these in my life. I just hope and dream that one of these days I will actually find the time to start farming I-10 sculptures again. But there is always so much to do.